Welcome back to the Brothers Workshop. Today, it's story time. It's all about the 66 and the journey we took to bring her home. Before we get into the story, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this kind of stuff, give the video a like. In order to understand why I bought this truck, you're going to have to understand what truck I was actually looking for in the first place. And it wasn't a Chevy. It was actually a Ford. My great-grandfather had a Ford F3. It was a 1948. It's the truck he built his business out of. We had a photo of this truck for as long as I could remember. And every time I look at it, I thought, wow, that thing is really cool. It'd be awesome one day if I could actually fix one up and make it look identical to that. The time finally came where I could actually do that. And I began looking for a project truck. And I found a few Ford F3s. In fact, they were actually 1948. They were the exact model and exact year. But I also found a later 1950s model. I can't remember the exact year, but it was the one with the weird grill. It's really ugly. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I almost pulled the trigger on it because the price was right. I was a little skeptical because I found it on Craigslist. So I went out there and took a look at it. We walked around it and I was pleasantly surprised. It was a really nice truck, I'm not gonna lie. Most of these things are rotted out by now, but all the cab corners were there, the floor was there. You know, everything was there except for the seat, needed some glass. Those are all things you could fix pretty easily. That being said, we decided to hold back. It wasn't the exact truck that I wanted. And then I found a guy locally here who sources trucks from throughout the entire United States. This guy seemed really cool at first, seemed like a nice guy. I told him what I was looking for. He actually had a 1948 Ford F3. I went down and looked at it, didn't realize how tight the cab was, and that was going to be an issue for a tall guy, especially if I wanted to cruise it, enjoy it, like we buy these things because we want to ride them. We buy them because we want to drive them and enjoy them, not sit in our garage and stare at them. So I sat in it. It gave me a whole new respect for what my great-grandfather went through when he was working in these things. So that truck has a lot of history with our family. Going back to the Ford I almost bought here, it was going to be an overwhelming task to get it roadworthy. I would have had to hire somebody to do this one, which is not what I want to do. I decided to pass on that one. However, he had a Chevy 3800. It was a 1948 and it had a 9-foot bed. Man, this thing was beautiful. And it needed minimal work compared to that Ford. And it had a patina that was beautiful. So I already told him I didn't want the Ford. It was just gonna be too much. By this time, I really found a love for Chevy. Obviously the shop truck's a 2014 Silverado. While I was trying to make up my mind between the Ford and the Chevy, I ran into this one on Craigslist. So I gave him a ring, went out and looked at it. I was blown away, absolutely blown away. 2 weeks went by and he hit me up and he was like, hey, are you still interested in the truck? I'm not getting any feedback. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We talked it out. I told him, let me think about it for a second. And I called the guy with the 3800 and I said, well, hey, this is what's going on. Would you be willing to work on a price? And he said, absolutely not. How dare you ask me? Almost instantaneously, he went from like the nicest guy in the world to an absolute jerk. Some of the things he was saying to me, I just couldn't do it. And I'm not going to work with somebody like that, and I'm sure not going to give him my money. So I walked away from the deal. I have a love for C10s that 3800 couldn't match. And being that this is a C20, it's almost the same truck. It also ran and drove. It was a no-brainer. For $200 more, why not? And I haven't looked back. I couldn't be more happy with this truck. Don't settle. If you want something, look, you'll find it. It took me 2 years almost to find this guy. And I'm very happy that I didn't settle, because I almost did. The number one lesson I've learned from this, if you're new to it, and you've never worked on a truck before, you've never had a project truck before, get something that runs and drives that you could work on here and there. Minor things. Because if you don't, it probably will sit there forever. Till next time, guys. Hey, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a like. We're going to be bringing you more content about the truck and the build to follow.